All right, we're here with our good friend Sam Shannon from Appletree Surfboards to show us what's new in the world of wingboards. And Sam, it's fair to say the Slice V2 was a hit for us, man. We see them all over the river. There's kind of this cult following of Appletree boards here in the gorge. And now we got something new, something fresh for 2024.
Yeah, we got the V3. I'm super psyched that this board's coming out. Gonna be here in the gorge next week. By the time you're seeing this video, Big Winds will have them. So the V3 is gonna be the next iteration of our Appleslice lineup. Like TJ said, the V2, we loved it. A lot of people loved it, and we kept everything we loved from the V2, got rid of everything we didn't. In a nutshell, I'd say the V3 is slightly higher performing on foil and way more forgiving touching down in the water and getting up and going. So there's no more nose purling. This thing will not go under. It touches down, skips up really well, and then it still retains all that agility and high performing on foil performance that we really loved from the V2. So how do we do that? What's sort of the tech involved with that? Let's start with the bottom shape, and we'll start dimensionally, just basically what has changed. So each board is going to be a little bit longer and a little bit narrower than the V2. Seems to be a common trend in board design so far. And that's going to be the same with the V3. So it runs from 40 liters every 10 liters up to 100 liters. Right here we got the 60 liter. It's a 5.0 and it's 21.5 wide. So nothing crazy, but a little bit stretched and a little bit narrower. On the bottom, and for the bottom shape, right, it's gonna be an optimized rocker line. So we have a little bit more nose rocker and a little bit flatter out the gate. So basically, the nose is gonna create a lot of lift when you're trying to get up and go. And then it's gonna transition into this sort of flatter tail planing hull that's just kind of gonna wanna accelerate the board once you're up on the surface and going. So it's a way more forgiving platform for someone that's doesn't have their technique super dialed, or if you're just feeling lazy, or if you want to ride a smaller foil and lighter winds. You can keep the board much quieter, and your timing doesn't have to be as spot on as you're pumping the wing, pumping the foil, and pumping the board. There's a lot more margin of error there. The rails on the side are also a much harder chine than the V2. The V2 had soft rails. This is a harder chine. Again, just focusing on that release out of the water. And then the rails are also quite pulled in. So while it's 21.5 up on the top here, it's much narrower up on the actual planing surface on the bottom. So it's kind of a two-stage, right? Once you're up on the planing surface, you're actually dealing with a much narrower platform. Then if we're going up to the nose here, so that's sort of talking about that forgiveness and that ability to really get going in the lightest of winds, or for those more so beginner riders that don't have their technique dialed. Now once we're up on foil, the touchdowns are like comically easy. The skipper range in our lineup, not the V3, but the skipper range, we redesigned the nose and realized that the nose of that board is like unbelievable. So we took a lot of that DNA and put it into the V3. And basically there's a little bulge under your front foot where your front foot would be up here. So, you know, as like, if it's a weird day out in the river or out in the ocean, whitewater, hard to control the pitch of your foil, and you know, or whatever it may be, or maybe you're just getting used to a new foil, or you're new to it, and you touch that nose down, it's really just sort of displaces, that extra bulge displaces all the water out in a very continuous fashion, so it doesn't give you any sort of like jam forward, jam back, side to side. It keeps your weight pretty evenly distributed, so when you do come back up, you either come up quickly and evenly, so you're not shooting up out of the water or shooting to the side or getting thrown over the bars on your front foot like that. It's a very consistent touchdown, along with this sort of double concave up front there. So that's sort of, those are the highlights on the sort of bottom of the V3 here, the upgrades. And then the deck, you know, to the naked eye, relatively similar to the V2. A couple things are different. There's a little more sort of volume up front to help with that nose purling and the touchdowns. And then your front foot has a little bit of recess over the back foot, just giving you a really nice controlled feel when you're coming down a wave face or you're at a higher speeds and going through turns. And then while it is a narrow board, we kept the rail radiuses quite tight. And what I mean by that is how quickly it sort of comes down, right? So it's not sort of a gradual turn here. You can still really offset your feet a lot if you want. And it gives you that sort of rail-to-rail control that a wider board gives you with the quickness rail-to-rail that a smaller board gives you. So it's sort of the best of both worlds there. And you can still offset your feet, have whatever sort of stance you want there. That's the big change on the top, big change on the bottom. I mean, I've been riding this board now for a few weeks. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait for TJ and the people here at Big Ones to get on the water and be able to tell you guys all about it.
So a couple of other features that I might have you explain real quick.
Sure.
Remember how we were ordering these in the factory in Portugal? They were building it with tracks further forward.
Yep.
You guys are using tracks that are now longer, right?
Yes, correct. The tracks are longer than the previous V2. These are now our own tracks. They have a fun little dialogue in there for you. But yeah, they're longer tracks. So the foil position, I've been riding a range of foils, and we've got it out to a bunch of ambassadors that have been riding everything. We haven't had any issues with foil position. You'll have plenty of space to play around and get it dialed just to where you want it.
So it plays friendly with pretty much any foil on the market.
Yeah,
very
for
cool.
Sure.
Another thing is the construction, the quality of this construction is certainly unique. I think that's what appeals to a lot of our customers is the foam that you guys use in this board.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that, sorry. Sometimes to me it goes without saying, but the foam in all Appletree boards, not just the V3 like TJ said, is all a waterproof, super high dense foam. So it's really connected. You get no flex. You feel like you're pretty much standing on your base plate, something that everyone's really looking for. And then yeah, it's a waterproof foam. So if you crack it, if you're traveling, if you're just in the gorge for the week, on Maui in the week, in Baja, wherever you're going, and you have a crack, you don't have to worry about it. The foam's not going to intake any water, so you can just keep going and enjoying your session. You know, at some point you should repair it, but it's not a pressing issue, and you're not going to damage the integrity of your board by any means.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest selling points, I think, on all of your boards is just the quality of construction that these guys in Portugal are putting into every board that comes our way. And then lastly, what's this thing all about?
Yeah, that thing's pretty cool. So it's a new feature that that we put in our board. So under all the leash plugs now are gonna be a little NFC tag. And basically what you do is you put your phone over it like this, and it scans a little item here, and then it pops up with that. So it's like a QR code. So you click it, and it scans it. You kind of have to play around, and it'll pop up with that little link, and you can click on that. And I'm already at the web page, but and it shows you a whole bunch of facts about your particular board, and you can register it. So you scroll down. It's a Slice V3. You got your product passport, and you can register your board. So this board is registered to you, and it has all your personal information, and we can track it. And then it gives you repair, what you need to repair, how to repair it, what kind of cloth is needed, all your ingredients lists, and it goes through all the repair process. It goes through the care, the technology, that waterproof foam that I was talking about. Yeah, it's kind of a cool little feature to give you some more information about your board.
And you can just scan it with your phone, and there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, no need to actually use a Sharpie pen to write all of that information on your board anymore when you can just scan it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. If you want to keep writing your name on the board, that might not be a bad program.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
But yeah, it's cool. I'm excited about that, and as that technology continues to get better, the information will be greater. So
awesome. Well, you guys, there you go. The Appletree Slice V3, brought to us from our good friends over in the factory at Appletree in Portugal, and ridden by our good friend here, Shannon.
Sweet.
Stoked to get these in the shop. You guys come on by. We've got multiple sizes available, and yeah, they're going to be here by the time you're watching this video.